Meg. Hang on, sorry.
Bye guys, see you on your way.
Is this yours?
Oh, you both going?
Yeah. We'll miss you so much.
Bye, Erica. Bye. Thanks, sir. Yeah, I think I said Meg was a storyteller, but I think she said she was going to do some songs tonight.
Oh, I'll tell a little story as
A
well.
little story and some songs. Okay, Meg Phil.
A couple of new songs that have been haunting me that I just have to get out of my system. And I found them because I had to write a profile for the folk rag and made me think about where I come from. I come from Fife in Scotland. Now, if I draw you a map, a mud map on the wall, like here's the top of Scotland, John O'Groat's up here. Down you come to Dornoch and Inverness where my sister lives now. And then you go along that north coast where all the fishing villages and places are, to Aberdeen, big fishing port, all the way down past Arbroath, another fishing port that's now not doing very much. Then into Dundee, on the River Tay, mouth of the Tay. And where the Tay splits from the land, that's where Fife is, that wee Dog's Head where St Andrews is. And I lived in a village, a couple of villages in Fife when I was growing up. And one of the things that always struck me, of course, was that I thought that the Forth was the sea. You know how the Firth of Forth, the mouth of the River Forth. I used to think that that was the sea and was a bit disappointed because it was always muddy looking. And my father, who was a plumber, said, "You're not going in that water. There's that much rubbish in there, you're not putting your head under." So anyway, I loved that part of the estuary, the Firth of Forth, and there was an island. There's a famous island in there called the Isle of May. And, you know, when I would go back to Scotland, I always went to the fishing villages in Fife, Crail, Anstruther, Pittenmean, Ely, St Monans. And one time I was going home, I said to my brother, "Oh God, I can't stand living with my mother and father for longer than 3 or 4 days. Can I borrow your caravan?" But, you know, we like caravans. So he planked his caravan for me at Crail. And it was May, it was bloody freezing, but clear days, and right opposite, right beside the water, I'd look out and watch the sun going down on the Forth, and you could see the silhouette of the Isle of May, and I thought, I'll have to go there, I have to go there. So you get a boat from Anstruther, and it happened the day that I had decided I'd go. Got up in the morning and not a breath of wind. The Forth was like a mirror. A mill pond was too English. A mirror, flat as anything, a sunny day, and the boat was just great. It was like a fishing boat that had been revamped, and it just chugged. And because it was so still, it was like you just went along like this. The boat just cruised through the green, clear water. It was just idyllic, just beautiful. And people were chatting, there was quite a few people on the boat, and we were going over to the Isle of May. And I didn't know, but once you got round the side, there's these big white cliffs, and all these seabirds, guillemots, and a few gannets, and, you know, just... But what the Isle of May is famous for is puffins. They've got a Scottish seabird centre there. And I wasn't prepared for the puffins. I mean, you know what puffins are like. They're on those books at the back with a wee big beak. Black, and this beak is just coloured orange and blue and green, and it's just amazing. What I wasn't prepared for in May was that they were, of course, rearing their young. And they were out fishing in the Forth, and they were coming back to land in their burrows on the Isle of May. And so you get off the boat and you're walking up, and there's these squadrons of puffins coming into land. It was just, so I get up to a hill, and I think, oh, I've got to watch this. I spent the 2 hours we had on the island just watching these squadrons coming, and they were coming really close to me. And as they flew in, I mean, they'd been out fishing in the Forth and they were full of wee fish, but what they had left for their young was hanging out of their beaks, heads out one side, tails the other, just stacked all the way out. And they just kept coming, just squadrons of them. And I just watched this and thought, oh my God, it's just heaven on a stick. you know, simple things. So there's a song that Cilla Fisher used to sing about the Isle of May, and that's the song I'd like to sing now. It's got a repeating chorus bit in it. I thought you might like to join in. Very easy, providing I can get the tune right. And the song was written by Matt Armour, and it's called The Isle of May. See the morning light, hear the puffins coming. Sorry, calling. See the morning light, hear the puffins calling. End another night off the Isle of May. Those second and fourth lines repeat all the time. So I'll sing it again and you can join in with me. See the morning light, hear the puffins calling. End another night off the Isle of May. Bright eastern skies, hear the puffins calling. White cliffs arise of the Isle of May. See the long lines flowing, hear the puffins calling. Deep and forth they're going on the Isle of May. Run the nets once more, hear the puffins calling. Off the cold Fife shore, on the Isle of May. As the daylight fades, hear the puffins calling. Small money made on the Isle of May. Now bright herrings gone, hear the puffins calling. Inshore life is done on the Isle of May. Bright eastern skies, hear the puffins calling. To the fishers' cries on the Isle of May. Turn again to Fife, hear the puffins calling. That's the inshore life on the Isle of May. See the morning light, hear the puffins calling. End another night on the Isle of May. Oh. On the cat, she really likes it too. The other song that I discovered recently was one by Robert Burns. I'm a bit of a Burns fan. And when I was really young, my granny lived in an old tenement building. It was a coal mining village that we lived in. And one of the buildings that were attached, one of the houses next to it, there was a family there, and the son was a bit odd. Well, the son-in-law, he had white hair, and yet he was only in his 40s. He hardly spoke, and he had a funny eye. And his name was Willie. And he was married to Janet, the daughter. And Willie, very quietly, went about his life as a gardener, a market gardener. I was introduced to glass houses and rows, because this is Scotland, rows and rows of tomatoes were grown inside the greenhouse. And if I was very, very good, I would get a wee watering can given to me, and I could go and water the tomatoes. And I would chat, and sometimes I would sing for Willie. He liked a wee song, and we always shared a sandwich when it was leaf time, break time. And we would sit together amongst all the fertilisers and twine, because he had quite a good business going. I found out later that he had been a prisoner of war in a prison camp, and so some of the things that were wrong with him were because of what happened there. But I always have a fond memory of Willie as the gardener, and this is the song called The Gardener Wees Paddle. I love the fact that I can do Lowland Scots. A gardener, of course, is a gardener, and his pedal is what it is. Okay, so it's got a chorus too, but it's a bit more complicated, but you'll pick it up. You guys are good. And it's by Robert Burns, and I think when I told my brother about it, he said, oh, when I said who it was, I'd heard singing it on a CD. He knew it, anyway. And it's got the word May in it. When Rosie May comes in with flowers to deck her gay green spreading bowers, then busy, busy are his hours. Here's the bit we join in with. The gardener with his pedal. Be ready. The chorus is this. The crystal waters gently fall. The merry bards are lovers all. The scented breezes round him blow. The gardener with his cradle. When purple morning starts the hair to steal upon her early fare, then through the dews he mun repair. The gardener with his cradle. The crystal waters gently fall. The merry bards are lovers all. The scented breezes round him blow. The gardener with his cradle. One day expiring in the west, the curtain draws on nature's rest. He flies to the arms that he loves the best. The gardener with his cradle. The crystal waters gently fall. The merry bards are lovers all. The scented breezes round him blow. The gardener with his cradle. Thank you. It's not actually my keys. And I was going to sing. An interesting thing happened to my sister. She moved up near Inverness, and the people there don't speak Lowland Scots the way we do in Fife. They speak something called Doric. And it's really odd that my sister, who was a real broad Fifer, would suddenly become a Doric speaker, and she would say words that I didn't understand. Like they would say, "Fit you doing?" and which means, "What are you doing?" Fit. So the WH has disappeared. And "Far are you going?" which means "Where are you going?" And a young man is a loon, and a young woman is a quine, which made no sense. Well, except it's kind of close to queenie. And there's a traditional song. The one about the Isle of May is about the herring industry. All those fishing villages around Scotland were because of the herring in the late 17s through the 1800s, but they've got fished out. You know. So the herring was a really big industry for people, working class people who live near the sea in Scotland for a long time. And this traditional song, you probably know, it's, it's the kind of thing I do with kids to keep them busy. But you probably know it. And I've made it a bit Doric. Oh, fiddle a day where herons heed, fiddle a day where herons heed, a market into loaves of breed, herons heed, loaves of breed, and all sorts of things. The herring is the king of the sea, the herring it is the fish for me. And here's the chorus. Sing. Fa-la-la-li-do, fa-la-la-li-do, fa-la-la-li-do-li-day. Bit of a challenge. What will a day wear herring's eyes? What will a day wear herring's eyes? I'll mark them into pickles and pies. Herring's eyes, pickles and pies, herring's heat, loaves of bread, and all sorts of things. The herring is the king of the sea. The herring is the fish for me. Sing. Ba-la-la-li-do, ba-la-la-li-do, ba-la-la-li-do-li-day. What'll I do with a herring's fins? What'll I do with a herring's fins? I'll mark them into needles and pins. Herring's fins, needles and pins. Herring's eyes, pickles and pies. Herring's head, loaves of meat, and all sorts of things. The herring is the king of the sea. The herring is the fish for me. Sing. Fa-la-la-li-do, fa-la-la-li-do, fa-la-la-li-do-li-day. What'll I do with a herring's back? What'll I do with a herring's back? I'll make it a loon and christen him Jack. Well, make him a loon and christen him Jack. A loon called Jack, herring's back, herring's fins, needles and pins, herring's eyes, pickles and pies, herring's teeth, loaves of meat, and all sorts of things. The herring is the king of the sea. The herring is the fish for me. Sing. Fa-la-la-li-do, fa-la-la-li-do, fa-la-la-li-do-li-day. What'll I do with a herring's belly? What'll I do with a herring's belly? I'll mark it into a quine called Nelly. Herring's belly, quine called Nelly. Herring's back, loon called Jack. Herring's fins, needles and pins. Herring's eyes, pickles and pies. Herring's head, loaves of meat, and all sorts of things. The herring it is the king of the sea. The herring it is the fish for me. Sing. Fa-la-la-li-do, fa-la-la-li-do, fa-la-la-li-do-li-day. Oh, fiddle-a-dee with a herring's tail. Fiddle-a-dee with a herring's tail. I'll mark it into a ship with a bonny red sail. Herring's tail, ship with a sail. Herring's tail, no, herring's belly, christen him Nelly. Herring's back, christen him Jack. Herring's fins, needles and pins. Herring's eyes, pickles and pies. Herring's and all sorts of things. The herring is the king of the sea. The herring is the fish for me. Sing. Fa-la-la-li-do, fa-la-la-li-do, fa-la-la-li-do-li-day. Thank you.
And now, I see that he was so entranced he forgot to go and get his guitar. He's rushing around now.
Yeah.
That was confusing. We used to sing that a lot in the old days, but it was a very different.
Bill Scott used to sing it.
Did he?
And Stan, the waiters used to sing it. They used to take turns